Hello everyone, welcome back. This episode of Bitcoin Trade. Um, for the most part, it's going to just be a chart analysis. Um, it's Monday. Uh, all the bidders for the auction regarding the Bitcoins that came from uh, the personal wallet of Ross Ulbricht, the first batch anyway. Everyone should have paid for them, and looks like some of them have uh, basically sold out into the exchanges, apparently. Not sure, but just kind of weird timing. Monday, um, you see that uh, large uh, sell-off right here. A couple of reasons. I mean, it did break below the support, so it could be a sell-off that way. I was watching this over the weekend, and it was pretty. Nothing happened until Sunday late, and then it hit right here. You see that little that 12-hour mark right there before it breaks down. Um, it was that pretty much all day, and this is obviously it's Monday, well past after 5 o'clock. This is kind of it's about 12 o'clock in Houston, um, and you're seeing this reaction after that. So there's a sell-off here. So it broke the support, but also it's kind of coincidental that it also would break on the Monday after everyone has paid for their Bitcoins. It probably would have been released, and then the market drops. I think the deadline was 5 o'clock for the wire to come through. And so I'm assuming about that time it was released, and about that time is when it started to start falling. Let's take a look here actually. So if we look, this is hourly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 that it broke down. 6, 5. So if it's 12 o'clock. 5 o'clock, yeah. So 7 hours from now it's 5 o'clock, and that's when it started breaking down. And that was the final time for the wire to come through, and that was Eastern Standard Time. But nonetheless, the timing's pretty close to right here, and then it started falling. It really started falling right now. And it really started falling right about here, because on the hourly, as I was watching it, it was just barely nothing going on. The volumes were very low, as you can see here. And then all of a sudden, on a Sunday, it started falling. And I think this was a really early indicator that I think prices were gonna go down. And I have a theory on this, is that could be a couple of reasons. Maybe people knew who were the winning bidders and the losing bidders. They all knew where the price was. So word kind of got out. You know, you can never really stop chattering. There's always going to be some kind of chatter. But I know for a fact that the winning and losing bidders would know or have a good idea where or what the price would be that the Bitcoins were sold for that won the auctions. And so if they were smart, like if I was to bid on an auction and I bid a certain way, and whether I won the bid or I lost the bid, especially if I won the bid, I would know if I got it at a discount. And I would take, if I had Bitcoins right now, I would have probably sold it knowing that I got it at maybe around this price. Wherever this is going to stop, it's probably a good chance where the bids were at, or the average, maybe higher, maybe lower. But if I was a winning bid and I underbid to get a discount on the Bitcoins, what I would do is I would take my existing amount, whatever I had, and it probably wouldn't be 2,000. So another thing is there could be a syndicate. They would all known, and I saw a burst of 200, 300, 400 Bitcoins being sold around here as well, and also really around here as well, just a lot of increments of 50, 60, 70. I saw a lot of those, and right now you're probably seeing a large sell-off here, big push down. So that's my theory on this, which is fine because I did, if you've seen my previous episode, I did warn you that if it did break down below these, that you could probably see a drop, a major drop. And hopefully you watched my video and took heed to that warning. At least I did, because when I say I'm going to do something, I usually do it. So let's pull back here to, let me see if I can pull back to daily. Nope. So that line represents a very small portion just right here. Now I've gone back to the 3-day on Bitfin, and something interesting on the other exchanges, and I'm going to redraw this line, but I just want to show you, I'll show you like on Bitstamp. You see that flash crash right about here? It's not on Bitstamp here. Let's see if it's on Bitsy. Now you do see it on Bitsy. Here it is on, there it is on Bitfin. Okay, so it's right, it was right here on this time frame. And then let's look at the Chinese exchange real quick. This is the Chinese exchange in particular I'm talking about. But you don't see it on the Chinese exchange as much. So let's see what you do see here. Do you see anything? Well, we see on this particular Chinese exchange, which is Hobu, I think, you can kind of see where the price is, and it's very small. You can't really see it that well. You can see maybe there's some correlation between these two, but if you start looking at some of the other chart analysis or other charts, you'll see something very similar to Bitsy here, that maybe you couldn't see with the other exchanges. And I'm about to draw that line here, and this is just drawing simple lines, and you may be able to see something here. There you go. Now I'm gonna zoom to a 12, and this is Bitsy. And as far as Bitsy is, and I'm gonna draw two lines actually. Actually, it goes along really perfect with this one, but I'm gonna draw two lines anyway because short term, most of you probably have done something like this. There it is. So short term from here to here is kind of what you've been following. And then when it broke down, you knew that as it broke down here and it's tried to struggle to go back up, but I kind of had a feeling that it wasn't. Now this is Bitsy on a 12-hour, and you just saw me draw the lines. Now you're seeing it go down, and how far is it going to go down? Well, on the Bitsy, it looks like it's going to be down to 340. And if the price is falling rapidly, and this kind of does make sense on Bitsy, is I've noticed that Bitsy, and you can almost see it, you can see it right now, Bitsy is starting to pair up Bitstamp, Bitfin, and to some degree the Chinese exchange here. And so one of the things you can do, or try to do, it's kind of really up to you, doesn't really matter, is you can do some kind of arbitrage in some sense. If you already have Bitcoins and they're gained Bitcoins, basically you're not going to lose out on them. One of the things you can do, I'm going to pull back here a little so it stays in focus, is you could just move your Bitcoins over here to Bitsy, cash out while they're all in somewhat parity. Or if you have Bitcoins at Bitsy for whatever reason, you could take them out. I don't know why you would. It's always lower. You probably wouldn't. It looks like it's starting to go up a little bit, but at some point they were parity right there, as you just saw. And so what you want to do is you want to move your Bitcoins here, cash out to here, let the dust settle, and no matter what, those are your Bitcoins that you you gain your loss, you don't really care. Those are all gained bitcoins. What you're really trying to do is trying to gain more bitcoins. And so the idea is that you would perform arbitrage by either sending your bitcoins here, and then while you're sending it, hopefully when this turns, or when it hits this mark, and this is kind of why I'm bringing this up, is on this chart it looks like it says about 340, which has almost hit its mark. But if you look at another chart, and I'll show you that chart, and this is on Bitfin, and sorry, I have to redraw the lines once it shows up on here. I don't know if I lost my internet connection already. Anyways, on Bitfin, I'm going to redraw these lines, and then you're going to start seeing another pattern here. And so I'm going to go back on a 3-day. So now you see this one. Oh. Okay. And I'm going to zoom back in to the 12-hour, and now you got a different number, right? And then it just happens to cross here because I clicked right there, of course. And I'm going to use another line to draw this line that most of you probably been following. And then you'll see that it did break down right here. But you're probably wondering, where is it going to stop? Well, on Bitsy, it'll stop at 340. On Bitfin, it's going to show stop at a little bit lower, around 3. Let me see if I can do a better job of getting this out here. 324. So what you might start seeing, if it does go down further, is some of these other exchanges, depending on what's going on, that Bitsy will become higher in price. It'll stop around 340 maybe. Who knows? This is just a suggestion. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud. And then, and then Bitstamp, you're going to start seeing these, and maybe some of the Chinese exchange. See, this one's Chinese exchange is starting to go down a little bit further, and then Bitstamp is lagging, so Bitfin is starting to be a little bit higher, but you could see that invert. And matter of fact, this is amazing. If you have any bitcoins on any of the other exchange, you might want to move them to Bitfin and perform arbitrage, selling off of here and then rebuying back into one of your other exchanges. That could be a way, which would then lower this and bring this back down to parity, or even drive it down further on the Bitfin exchange. Sorry if I keep moving my pen up there, it just gets out of focus. And so anyways, that's a strategy. And the reason why I bring that up is, again, if you look at this chart, it just shows this as a lower support than on BitC. And so another reason why I bring this up is when you have turmoil like this and uncertainty and the auctions going on, where you had a very low volume, low volume as far as trading, like right around, this has happened Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You'll see that this is the weekend where it has a very low volume. And one of the things you can do when there's low volume on the exchanges, and also low volume in trading in the real world, is you can perform arbitrage. I actually like the idea that there's low volume. The key is to trade in small quantities, to perform arbitrage in small quantities where it's not that noticeable, and you want to take advantage of the price difference, and also not perform market orders but limit orders. To some exchanges, they're doing limit orders lower in commission. Other exchanges don't even have any commissions whatsoever. You just trade. And then compared to a market order, which some exchanges are, doesn't matter market or limit. Some do matter, where it's more to perform a market order versus limit orders. In either case, what I'm trying to say is actually just if you do a limit order, in any case, you're getting it at a lower price or a higher price, depending if you're buying or selling. And so instead of getting it on the spot price or getting slippage. And so what I was waiting for was one of the strategies you can use is when you're not getting a lot of trades in the real world, and I wasn't, especially Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you don't get a lot of trades. Monday I didn't really get a lot of trades either. I did have my typical trades come in, but it wasn't, I could tell the volume was very low over that time, in general. Although people did still come to me with trades, but overall volume was low. In those situations, it's really important to have a trading account where you can trade Bitcoins on the exchanges, because you're able to do a couple things. You're not going to make a lot of money. I've always said that performing arbitrage through the exchange, you're not going to make a lot of money, but what you can do is you can position yourself at a better price, or make a small enough gain to the point where you're at least doing something. You should always be trying to make a gain somewhere, someplace. So there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But the important thing is that you do keep trading. And whether you're short or you're long, always try to protect your gains. And that's kind of really important, because if you don't, you're not going to last too long. So with that in mind, here is the hourly chart on Bitfin, and what you saw the breakdown here, and then after that you saw the breakdown go down further. So you could tell that a lot of people were probably anticipating a little bounce back up here, and it kind of did, but then when it broke down through, it's really taking hold, and it's really following on an hourly. You could see that it's really following this average period line. This is all weighted versus this average. So now you're seeing a difference. It probably will bounce back a little bit here, because now the gap here is very different, but this is an hourly, so keep that in mind. If I pull back to a 12-hour, which that's kind of what I'm usually seeing, you'll see that it's just really beginning. It's just really beginning. It may bounce back up here and catch up a little bit, go up, and then come down a little bit further. And so it's pretty much clear that it's broken through. This is a very strong push downwards. And then the next support I see is around here at around 320. And so depending what it does, although Bitsy, as you saw, shows at about 340. So this is where your technical analysis of different charts really come in handy. Don't always keep looking at one particular chart. Always, look at the different other charts, even the Chinese charts. At least some of the stuff that has major exchange volumes. Let me see. OKCoin and Bitcoin China has very high volumes. Whether that's real or not, I don't know, but there's a lot of trading going on, and then you can probably use their chart to trade on some of these other charts that are US dollar based. Like I said, for example, I use Bitsy, which showed a different chart, which helps me get a better idea where the price might be. On Bitsy, it'll start at support shows at 340. Bitfin shows at 320. As far as Bitstamp and Hobu, they don't even show this particular line right here. So we'll see what happens. Um, so those are some of the things I think. Now what I think happened was, as the winning bidders and losers realized they won or lost, some of them took advantage of the difference in their bid price and what they had in their Bitcoins and just sold off right away. And I think a lot of them that finally got their Bitcoins, they're trying to take advantage of making those gains in US dollars. Now that they've probably seen that the price is broken down, everyone's got their Bitcoins, they probably all want to, uh, you know, secure their gain, and perhaps later on buy back in later at a lower price. Um, that's a strategy that I would take. I still am gaining my Bitcoins in, making my gains in Bitcoin, because the price is the price is lower than what it was. Even here, even now, for the past, maybe a month, it's been, so this price down here has been lower than all these other prices. So anytime there's a dip, this is a really good dip. I do take that opportunity because I think overall it is a low price right now. It's proven. If you look at overall, I mean, I think this area right around here, or anything around 350 to 320, even to 275. I know there's a large gap here, but even then, it's still the risk in keeping your Bitcoins in you're gaining in Bitcoins, or keeping your gains in Bitcoins versus the virtual currency money, virtual currency fiat money anyway. It's worth keeping, because if you look at the overall picture, if I pull back further, I'm gonna have to go to Bitstamp to do this. To really get a good idea, it's pretty good. Considering where it was, where it's been, and where it is now, and I know this is kind of sloping downwards, but if you just look at the price where they've always spiked down, it's always kind of been, seems like it's always been supported. Now, even if it goes down, you can still average cost going down. You just have to be patient and wait for it to go back up. And that's a question of whether you can handle that or not. Some people can't. Some people can't handle that. Some people don't have the patience. This is on a downturn. This is where you really got to have the patience to stick with this. Because if you can't stick with this, you're gonna probably lose out, and you're gonna beat yourself up for not having or keeping those Bitcoins when they were at 300. So I'm sure a lot of people were kicking themselves when it was $100, right? Thinking, man, I'm getting out. It's crashing right here, only to have it go back up again to 1,000. And I'm sure that people were kicking themselves when it went up to 250, and then it went up to 500, and they sold off at 500, and it just ended up going to 1,000. I'm sure there's other people on the flip side kicking themselves for buying at 1,000, and then now seeing it at 350. So, but you just have to know when to get in, when to get out. Chart analysis helps, experience helps. If you're not used to trading on the exchanges, you better start learning, because there's going to be times where people aren't going to be buying Bitcoins for money in the real world. It's just going to happen. It just comes and goes like that. So for those people who are really depending on people buying Bitcoins for you for whatever reason, whether they're buying it to use it, buying it for investing, buying it to send money somewhere, whatever, I wouldn't really rely on that 100%. You gotta have like a backup plan for your backup plan, and another backup plan for all your backup plans. If you want to survive, if you want to, get rich quick, then by all means do whatever you probably are doing. You probably have gotten rich, but now you're probably experiencing what it's like to be poor. And so it comes and goes. So if you know how to survive, and that's what it's all about, surviving, you'll know what to do. And you know what it takes to do this. So anyways, that's my chart analysis here. I'm just going to go back to 12-hour Bitfin, and there's no news. I just want to do a straight chart analysis here for you. And so you see me draw the lines. Hopefully that's going to help you, and hopefully you can capitalize on some of this that I've been talking about. It's not just enough to be able to sell Bitcoins and buy Bitcoins. You really have to understand what's going on, events that could affect the price, chart analysis, and also not only just chart analysis on a particular exchange, but on all of them, to help you get a better understanding of price action movement. Because I'm sure if you're watching my videos, you want to know how you can make a gain. How can you gain in either dollars or Bitcoins? How can you make a gain? And sharing that is not a problem. The problem for probably some of you is, you're watching my videos and it kind of sucks that it comes out, or you're watching it after it happens. The question is, can you start understanding now how to see where the price action will be, or how it flows? Are you getting better at doing chart analysis? Are you getting better at making trades on the exchanges? And keep in mind, if you should only trade about 1 to a maximum of 10% of what you have at the exchange. No more than that. If you're trading all your money, whether you're on margin or I don't do margin, I just do straight exchange trades. There's no, the risk of margin is, and I have to admit, some of the Bitcoin exchanges don't have a high margin, so it's not that bad. But at the same time, prices move very quickly. You can get a margin call, and you'll be forced out to take a loss. Where when I make an exchange trade, when I'm exchanging for $1 of Bitcoin for $1 of dollar, I'm not going to be forced out. That's a Bitcoin or a dollar I'm going to be keeping, one or the other. And there's no margin call on me. So even though it looks bad, things turn around when you least expect it, and you're going to beat yourself up for not holding your position. So you got to hold the line and hold your position. Don't bow down to fear. And in times like this, fear is your greatest enemy, and you have to overcome your fears. So anyways, that's my quick chart analysis. I don't want to make it too long. I hope that this helps you, and I hope you all have a great day trading. I really do. So until next time, feel free to comment, like, dislike, even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.